All right. Hi, everybody. Natural Resources Subcommittee. It's April 5th. The first bill we're going to take up is Senate Bill 44, unattended dogs. Kristen, would you please tell us about Senate Bill 44?
So Senate Bill 44 is the cross-file to House Bill 16. It did come over a little bit different from the House bill. The bill prohibits a person from leaving a dog outside and unattended for longer than 30 minutes without access to continuous suitable shelter during extreme weather conditions and suitable shelter or suitable shade when temperatures are above 90 degrees. The Senate version alters the definitions in the bill. On page 2 of the Senate bill, extreme weather conditions is now defined as temperatures below 32 degrees or conditions during an active winter or cold weather warning or advisory. So that modifier of winter or cold was added. The definition of suitable shelter was updated. One of the conditions in the House bill was that it have a solid floor that is raised off the ground or properly insulated. The Senate version indicates it must have a solid floor that allows the dog to remain reasonably dry. And another condition in the House bill was that the shelter have 4 walls, one of which contains a doorway. The amended version from the Senate, the condition is now it must have the shelter must be enclosed with an entrance on one side. One of the conditions in the House bill was that it be insulated. The Senate version just indicates it must allow a dog to maintain its normal body temperature. The House bill included certain spaces and structures that would not be considered suitable sheltered. Those express exclusions have been taken out of the bill.
Any discussion? Any motion? Delegate Foley? I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's Jalisi. Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, my question is, what's the posture of the House bill?
So the Senate has amended the bill, the House bill and the Senate to conform to the Senate version. It's been reported by the Senate committee.
All right, we have a motion favorable. And we have a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, bill will go to full committee. Thank you, Kristen. Okay. We'll take the Senate bills up numerically. So we'll start with Senate Bill 64. Okay, Senate Bill 64, the Ocean City beach structure that pertains to the Life Saving Museum in Ocean City. House Bill 1300 passed the House. It's over in the Senate. Patrick, would you explain where we are on these?
You hear me? Okay. All right. The House, the Senate, we have amendments, and I had them for the screen, and you'll have to take my word for it because I didn't make copies like I usually do. Basically, we're turning the Senate into the House bill, and the Senate's going to accept that. And there's one change that's going to go into both bills, and that's striking some obsolete language that were some exemptions from the requirement, or from the prohibition against having permanent structures in the beach erosion control district. And that's specifically for expanding the Ocean City Boardwalk and for bathrooms that were going to be constructed in the boardwalk area. The boardwalk's already done, the expansion, and the bathrooms, the city managers have decided is not necessary. So that's the change in both. The opposite houses are going to put that same amendment on both bills.
Did you say that was obsolete language?
Yes. It's current law language. That's obsolete.
Delegate Otto?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think Patrick has answered my questions about it, and I'd move the amendments to conform it to the House bill that we sent over.
Delegate Foley, second. So we're on the, we're amending on the amendments. All those in favor of the amendments, say aye. Aye. All right, and then on, so this is the bill that both houses are amending to.
Correct.
Okay. Any motion or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Senate Bill 64 passes with amendments. And so what we will go in numerical order on the Senate bills. So that would mean the next one is Senate Bill 466, the Potomac River Compact. You may remember this subcommittee met a number of times to discuss House Bill 711, but then we ran out of time before crossover. The House proponent has said it's all right to work on the Senate bill and leave the House bill behind. So we have Senate Bill 466 in front of us. Patrick, would you let us know about Senate Bill 466?
Here it is. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a tricky bill to explain in yet a simple bill. Number of years ago, 2007, 2013 to be exact, twice, the General Assembly enacted language related to the Potomac River's Fishery Commission. And Virginia did the same thing, which they have to for it to become effective. But somehow there was some confusion, and not all of the language got into this Maryland statute. Specifically, one provision, the provision that raised the commissioner's salaries to up to $250 per day with a cap of $1,500 per year is still shown in the Maryland Code as contingent on Virginia approval. Virginia Code shows this change as being in effect. I'm not going to get into Virginia Code anymore after that because it gets really confusing. That's the only discrepancy in the Maryland Code. So this bill is designed just to affirm that the General Assembly believes that these actions have gone into effect, and will hopefully spur a governor's proclamation and a correction in the code. The Virginia Code is all messed up, but we don't have to worry about that.
And
There's no amendments. No amendments. I don't think any have been offered. There's no need for any. There's no statutory language. It's all uncodified.
I'd move the bill, Mr. Chairman.
any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Senate Bill 466 passes. Again, in numerical order, Senate Bill
Do you want to do the House bill?
582.
You want to do that?
Oh. On the vote for Senate Bill 466, that will also apply to House Bill 711 unless there's an objection. And it'll be up to the chair whether to move the House bill or not at this point. I did talk to the sort of the main, it's listed as Federal Relations Committee, Committee on Federal Relations, and they're all right if we don't move the House version, but we'll leave that up to the chairman at full committee. Okay. Let's move to Senate Bill 582 and House Bill 956, which never did proceed from here. So those are both in front of us.
Yeah.
Delegate Clark, I understand we're going to hold these, but do you want to just say what these bills do?
I'm working on amendments with the department to get them finalized. They should be ready for the next voting session.
Okay. Basically what these bills do is, fix the language so, we can continue with the tradition that's been in place for years and years of, when you work in agreement with the property owners to use this farm for hunting, that, the property owner is not liable, have any liability for you being there hunting. A creative judge just made a decision or something that changed it around, and so we were just fixing the language so that the court system, judicial system can go back to interpreting it the way it has been for many years. That's about it.
All right. Unfortunately, we do have to hold it. I suppose there are scenarios the final week where somehow this would go straight to committee. Is there any more discussion on this? All right, we do intend to bring it up in subcommittee again, but it's already Tuesday, so we'll see. All right, so we're going to hold those bills. Senate Bill 713 and House Bill 1215 are now both in front of us, and it's an Anne Arundel local fishing bill. Patrick, would you tell us about these bills?
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, the Senate bill, which has been amended to really all it does is authorize commercial and recreational fishermen in Anne Arundel County waters to hunt snakeheads with archery equipment, which is a better way of hunting snakeheads apparently than hook and line. One thing I did want to bring to the subcommittee's attention is that we do have a commercial snakehead license, and that license also authorizes the licensee to, hunt snakeheads with a bow and arrow. But it does put some conditions on it, some guardrails as we've been calling them lately, that a licensee may not fish with a bow and arrow within 100 yards of another person or vessel, public or private swimming area, a diver down flag, or an occupied offshore stationary blind. And it seems to me that if we have these limitations on the snakehead license, that they should probably go on the Anne Arundel County bill too.
Delegate Lehman?
Thank you. Mr. Tracy is going to give us bad dreams, I'm afraid. But seriously, there's hunting allowed with a bow and arrow? Did I just hear that right? Are these the fish that can get up on the land?
Yes.
Okay. So is there a state law right now? Why is this being just done? I don't remember this conversation, maybe because it came from the Senate side of the delegation. I don't remember this conversation in the Anne Arundel delegation. I certainly would have remembered. I think I remember a snakehead bill, but I don't remember anything around a bow and arrow. So, and did we get a letter from the county or from the delegation?
Well, there's excellent questions that all tie into each other. We wanted to bring this bill up and maybe even take a provisional vote, but we do not have a delegation letter on this amendment.
Okay.
We got a delegation letter on the original bill, but not on the amendment. We have the amendment, we don't have the delegation letter on the amendment.
Okay, so could you just say, I'm sorry, one more time, what specifically is the amendment around the bow and arrow language Or what is
Well,
it?
the amendment basically strikes the bill and says that in Anne Arundel County waters, you can hunt, recreational or commercially, you can hunt snakeheads with a bow and arrow, which again is a preferred method of hunting snakeheads.
Okay, so it strikes what had been the bill and
Right.
just talks about the bow and arrow.
Right.
And does it matter? Is that on land and the water? I
It's
guess
in
you can
water.
only use it on the land.
It's water.
Okay, ugh, all right, thank you.
Delegate Stein?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patrick, if there's already commercial license, why would we need this local authorization?
Well, for starters, the commercial license doesn't apply to recreational fishermen.
Okay.
And also, my reading is that the commercial license does not apply to someone who holds a tidal fish license.
Okay.
Now, of course, a tidal fish license, you could get a snakehead license, but
And if the fish aren't within the guardrails, can we still go after them? Yeah.
So, this,
Is that we need to do something about, and to make it as convenient for people to catch them and keep them or utilize them is very important.
We should be able to use M80.
Yeah. Yeah.
M80s. M80s.
so do I understand that Senate Bill 713, we're waiting to hear from Anne Arundel on the amendments from the Senate? Or on,
for both of them, we can vote it provisionally. We might have gotten a letter in the time we've been in here.
second, is there any discussion on this? Delegate Ruth?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. First of all, I'm a little confused. Are there or aren't there guardrails on this? I thought you said there were guardrails in terms of distance, but then when you were answering Delegate Lehman, it didn't sound like there were. I got a little confused.
There are no guardrails on the bill. I was referring to guardrails that are on
A different.
other forms of
Okay.
bow and arrow hunting for snakehead that are in the current law.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. And I also think Eric Galley was here on this bill. Did you?
Oh,
If you go up to the witness stand, we can go on audio.
It's good to be here with everybody. My name is Eric Alley, and I'm representing the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and it's good to see you in person. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation just asked me to come over and say that they are okay with the bill as amended in the Senate, but they do worry about the original bill. They think it opens up sensitive areas to a lot of unintended consequences with bows and nets and things like that. They do feel like the Senate bill was a perfect compromise with the snakeheads, and they are okay with that. So they just wanted to weigh in.
so we're gonna hold this. We're gonna hold this bill, and the subcommittee will meet again. And now that we're meeting in person, it might be easier to meet more quickly, although it works both ways. Okay, so we'll hold this, and
And there was a second on the floor to pass the bill on receiving the delegation letter. So that's a motion on the floor. I'm not going to withdraw it, so you're going to have to move it or kill it.
so your motion is what?
To move the bill upon receipt of the letter from the delegation, approval letter from the delegation.
Informal, it's up.
Delegate Foley?
You have to turn it, okay, there we go, thank you. I have a question for Eric. So you're okay with the Senate bill? Is that what you're moving, is that what, maybe this is for Mr. Chair, maybe this is for you. Are we moving, the Delegate Jacobs' motion is to move favorable on the Senate bill, is that correct? And just a question for Eric. Galley is, and so the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, if I heard you correctly, is okay with that?
We're okay with that, yeah.
Okay, thank
Certainly
you.
don't oppose it.
Thank you.
Away. We're just trying to save a little time, that's all.
All right. Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, since I'm only the only member from the Anne Arundel delegation. I do have the concern about the distance issue. If we could, I'm okay with, the vote contingent on getting a letter from the delegation specifying that it's okay with if this is a different bill, if everything was struck, as you said, and now there is only this language around bow and arrow hunting of these fish, I think we should hear from the delegation.
Well, we need to hear from the delegation in any case, yeah. So the motion on the floor is to approve the Senate bill, and then we'll be waiting for the county letter and for the county's consideration of these other issues. All right. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay. All right. And that takes care of our agenda. So stay tuned for when we'll meet again. Have a good day, everybody.